through that. How many different policies, the big ones, like what is there? So there's going to be one for the homeowner.
Right.
There's going to be one for
the landlord.
Right.
And there's different types of policies for landlords because there's ones that cover replacement value, and then there's less expensive policies that cover actual cash value. So replacement value means they'll pay for you to get all the construction material to replace it. But if you have an older home and maybe you're not super concerned about having brand new items in it, then you can get an actual cash value policy. Those are cheaper because they offer less coverage. They're going to give you depreciated
They're just cashing you
value.
out. They're just cashing.
Yeah, they're going to give you depreciated value for the rebuild of the home.
Okay,
so it's just a little less.
And then one step further on. So we got the home. We have the landlord, and then is like the investor side of things. That's a kind of a different thing, but the same.
Totally. Yeah. So it is different because insurance is all about risk and what is the risk of that home, right? What are you worried about? Mm-hmm. So if you are an investor, let's say you're buying a home to flip. So you're buying a home, it's vacant, you're doing construction on it, and there's no one living in there. So there's no one in there watching it, right? Mm-hmm. So for example, I had a customer one time that was doing a flip and a painter left a oil rag in the house at night and it spontaneously combusted and set the house on fire.
Wow.
Well, that's a risk for a vacant home that's under construction. So that needs a vacant home policy to cover those type of risks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, if that would have started a forest fire and it would have taken out the whole neighborhood,
right?
Who's reliable for that?
Oh, geez, Louise. I mean, homeowners policies have liability, which cover things like, let's say, instead of saying the whole forest fire, let's just say your house fire caught your neighbor's house on fire.
Okay.
Your liability coverage could kick in to also pay for the damage that your fire did to the neighbor's house. I mean, they probably have homeowners insurance themselves.
Oh, gotcha.
But liability has limits. So 100,000 is the minimum, and you can go as high as $1 million. Then you could put umbrellas on top of you to go to like 10 million. So just because you have the coverage doesn't mean that there's not a maximum, So it's important when you're looking at homeowners to not only say like, okay, how much do I need, but what other stuff do I own? What could somebody sue me for? Because you want your liability to be high if you're high net worth.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking, well, what happens? Like if it gets like really out of control? Yeah. Because then this gives people the bigger picture and the idea of like, oh wow, things could go really bad, and we're still protected.
Right.
Because most people don't think really bad scenarios. Like, oh yeah, hey, we messed up some drywall or some ceiling or structural thing or whatever, right? But it's like, well, let's talk about something ridiculous,
Yeah, and I think homeowners insurance is geared more towards those big things that are going to ruin your life, right? The little things, insurance policies typically have a deductible. Okay. And the higher the deductible, the lower the price. So that's a good trick because when you're buying homeowners insurance, especially when you're buying a new house, oftentimes you want to get your insurance premium down low to help your debt to income ratio. Okay. So you could just increase your deductible. So let's say you have a homeowner's policy with $1,000 deductible and it's a little out of your price range. You could increase your deductible to $2,500 and it'll lower your price. So you're getting all the same coverages with a little bit higher deductible and it'll lower your price.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so what a deductible is like, let's say in the scenario where your fence blows over, let's say that fence problem is only going to cost you $500, but you have $1,000 deductible. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not covered under your insurance until it hits your deductible.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So insurance
And you just have to take care of it yourself?
Right. You just take care of it yourself.
Okay.
Which little things like that. I feel like homeowners policies are more for the big things. The fires and the pipe burst and.
Well, yeah. And are you only here in Carlsbad, North County?
No, well, I'm licensed in all of California, and I grew up in the Bay Area, so I have clients from San Francisco to San Diego. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, because then you're up there too. You're dealing with more extreme weathers. You know what I mean? Because boop, there goes your roof.
Right.
where'd it go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Or like, if there, like it was really windy last week, the winds were crazy.
Yeah.
What if a wind blows a tree branch off and it slams into your roof?
Yeah.
That's covered under home insurance.
That happens. That happens.
It does.
Happens a lot.
Crazy things happen. I've been doing this for almost 14 years now. I've heard a lot of crazy stories. Yeah.
Let's hear one of these. We like to call them here success stories.
Success stories.
Let's hear about a seller success. We want some insurance success stories.
I had a customer call me one time. She had a huge tree. Actually, I think it was a tree I can't remember if it was her tree or the neighbor's tree. I think it was hers because we covered it. I don't know if you've seen the commercials where they're like, we covered it.
So that matters. If your tree falls on your house, it's your problem. If your neighbor trees falls on your house,
it's their liability.
Because it was their tree.
Right.
Interesting.
It was their tree.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So she called me and she was like, Jill, I'm stuck in my house. And I was like, what? And she's like, I'm stuck in my house. Like there's a huge tree that fell and it's blocking my doorway. And like, I can't get out of my house. It's like it crashed her car and it was covering her doorway. And so I was like, okay, I'll send someone over. We called someone over. Her car insurance covered her car because your homeowner's insurance does not cover your car. And people ask me that.
Anybody's home, even in your neighbor's home insurance.
Well, if a tree falls on your neighbor's car, then yes, your home insurance will cover that liability.
I'm with you.
But people ask me like if they have a fancy car in their garage, or I guess you could have it doesn't have to be fancy, right?
Right.
But they wonder if
collector.
yeah, totally. Yeah, their Porsches in their garage or whatever. They ask if their homeowner's insurance will cover that, like if there's a fire, but no. Typically homeowner's insurance exclude cars. The car insurance covers the car, so it's a separate claim.
Yeah.
If it's your car.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm with you. So how bad was was this claim?
Oh, it was bad. Because somebody had to come clear the tree out. It got complicated. Her car insurance, her house had to be repaired. Some of her landscape. I feel like it was probably over a $50,000 claim. The one where
and she just paid a Jeter.
She pays her deductible
or whatever her deductible was.
Yeah,
and then boom, it was all taken care of.
I think she had a $2,500 deductible. Yeah.
How stress free does that feel?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Insurance is one of those things that people think like, oh, I don't want to pay for my insurance. But like when you need it, you are so glad that you paid for it and that you have a good company that's going to take care of you. Because sometimes, some of the cheaper companies are cheap for a reason,
Yeah.
So, and it's good. I'm an agent, so I think it's good to have an agent to have these conversations and say, this is why you need this coverage. This is why you need that coverage. This is what your deductible means, So, yeah.
Yeah, and you're there to protect your client anyways, and it's not like you're like, oh, well, I'm going to get him for an extra couple $100 if I give him the terrorist package. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get them hooked up so they have the best policy possible for them to move forward.
So they're protected. And everybody's different, Some people need more protection than others, or some people might have really nice art or really nice jewelry, right?
Oh,
they need to add those on as floaters so they're fully covered, whereas other people